Hi, and welcome back. This is the 46th in the series I Eat, I Read, I Watch about dining solo. Don't just eat alone, dine solo. You're worth it. This time I'm eating chicken meatballs and Mexican rice. I bought myself a well-named Wonder Oven. When your kitchen is as small as mine, every bit of countertop real estate is precious, so this was a big decision. I even gave up my DeLonghi espresso maker, a gift from Jack, but this cutie was too good to pass up. Not only can I toast in it, I've lived without a toaster since I moved into Chandlerville, but it's got an air fryer, a reheat mode, and other bells and whistles I've not yet explored. Truth is, I haven't used my actual oven now for 6 weeks, so enamored I am with my new toy. But enough of the sales pitch. Why am I telling you this? Well, I've been using it to make the nicest meatballs. I started with a pound of ground chicken, a nod to reducing cholesterol. To that, I hand mixed in 1/8 cup of tomato paste, 2 crushed garlic cloves, 1/2 cup chopped onion, 1 egg, 1/4 cup breadcrumbs, 3/4 teaspoon kosher salt, 2 teaspoons jarred, diced chipotle peppers, 3/4 teaspoon chili powder, and 1.5 teaspoons cumin, 1 teaspoon coriander, and 1/4 cup finely chopped cilantro. Once it was all squishy and equally distributed between my fingers, I formed 10 balls. Put them in the Wonder Oven tray and roasted them at 350 until they got to a temperature of 170 Fahrenheit, about 35 minutes. As they cooked, I got to work on the Mexican rice. I heated 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil in a pan on highish heat. I added a cup of basmati rice. I didn't have long grain. 1/4 cup diced onion, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon cumin, and stirred it all up to avoid burning. Once it was getting a little toasted, I added 1/2 cup of passata and 2 cups vegetable broth, and got that to a boil, then covered it and let it simmer for 25 minutes, checking it from time to time not to let it burn or stick. The rice and balls landed more or less at the same time on the plate, aside a salad of romaine, pickled jalapeno, grape tomato, and radish dressed with oil and vinegar. And the next day, spaghetti with tomato sauce and meatballs. Prep time, 45 minutes. Origin, mostly Canadian. Cost about $9 for the chicken and really very little for the rest. 4 meals worth. If you've got ideas of what I can make in my Wonder Oven, please give me some suggestions in the comments. So what am I reading? Well, I'm reading The Big Tiny. Dee Williams' account of her decision to change up her life and subsequent DIY building of her 84 square foot home is the closest to my own book, Lane Change, that I've found. Sure, Chandlerville is 6 times the size of her house, and I didn't lift more than a mental finger to build it, but philosophically I think we're aligned. Like when she says, quote, I stumbled into a new sort of happiness, one that didn't hinge on always getting what I want, but rather on wanting what I have, end quote. I read this book for the first time more than a year ago, but I'm revisiting it now with a view to contacting her to see if she still feels the same way 22 years after she made this major life change, and 12 years since Penguin Random House published her memoir. The book and her PAD tiny house movement has made her famous, so I'd be shocked if she responded, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. Want to read more about Williams? Find the link in my blog. What's a book you've read that kind of mirrors an aspect of your life? Please share it in the comments on my blog. And okay, so what am I watching? Well, I'm watching a YouTube video called Lois Hannah Vanished. Lois Hannah went to my high school. She was a few years older than me, but even if we'd been closer in age, we likely wouldn't have hung out. She was a cheerleader and won Miss Midwestern Ontario, at the other end of the Wingham Glamour continuum. Her July 3rd, 1988 disappearance is something I've kept an eye on, though. She disappeared after attending a dance I was at, too. So when the OPP released a new YouTube video about the unsolved mystery of Lois, I couldn't let it go unwatched. I've put a link in my blog. The video has a lot of footage of her 4 older brothers whose lives, as you might imagine, have been haunted, imagining her fate 38 years ago. Very sad. The police have renewed their interest in solving the mystery, and the video reveals some details for the first time, like the fact there was a car parked outside her house early in the hours of July 4th, and that there were 2 people in her place of work when they shouldn't have been that same morning. There were also 2 drops of blood on the wall that, with improvements in blood analysis, they know is from a man, but doesn't match any other samples in the police system. The fact the blood isn't a match for a known offender came as a relief to me. This was the time of the Scarborough rapist, later found to be Paul Bernardo, the brutal killer of teenagers Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey. Bernardo is serving time, hopefully never to be released, but he's been long rumored to have attended that same dance Lois and I were at. Knowing that we were all rocking out to Crippled Duck, if you know, you know, with a vicious killer on the same dance floor has unnerved me, but the police have not been able to make that link. If the blood doesn't point to Bernardo, then I guess I can let go of those selfish what-if thoughts. I do hope the renewed investigation, including the release of these new details about blood in the car, dislodges information that someone must have. How awful for the family to live with the unknown. Is there an unsolved mystery you've followed over decades? Please share it in my blog. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time.